Greetings, groaners! It's been a long week, but here we are again. It's Friday, and once again, the Groan Zone has appeared to suck us all into the void of games, creepiness, and strangeness. For the 125th time, here we go. Your games are Yes or BS, Talking Nonsense, the 5-point countdown, and Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety. And the audience groan this week has rolled in from a couple, but more on that later. To honour a special day this week, Admin Nicole has also found us some more facts in her only burst for this week. Without further ado, here we go with my groans. Zoomer, boomer, etc. I cannot stand this type of language. Is it not enough to just say what year or year bracket you were born in? Like 80s, 90s, 70s, noughties. No, you've got to be branded Gen Z, etc. What is the actual point? Imagine a time capsule. 1,000 years from now, they dig it up, it would be meaningless twaddle. Make it make sense, for God's sake. Tight-fitting clothes. This one goes out to those types of people who wear clothes that are far too tight for them. I don't want to see the crack of your bum or your nipples poking through your top. I saw one guy who wore a suit clearly too small for him. He looked like a cannibal was prepping him for making sausages. This is not a jibe at body shape, just have some sense. If it looks too small for you, then it most likely is. The many different brands of bottled water. Okay, this bugs me, it really does. It all tastes the same. At least in the UK. Is it just me? Volvic, own brands, Evian, etc. I'm sure it's just tap water ran through a few filters or a couple of rocks somewhere. How about just all the companies merge and have one brand in the UK? Simple as that. You could call it Tap Water Limited. Like water down a plug hole. There they go. Swirling away for another week. But the groany soapy bubbles are still left for later in the form of the audience groan. Let's play a game now in the form of Yes or BS. Do I hear the sounds of groaners live? Ready? I believe I do. And clearly, groaner at home, you're listening to this, you must be ready for Yes or BS too. You know it by now. I give you 3 statements per round. One of them could be false. 2 of them could be false. They're all not going to be false, all not going to be true. You must avoid the BS statement. If you pick that statement, your points get blanked. So if you score a point in like round 1, you'll then possibly get the answer wrong in round 2. Your points will be blanked to 0. And then you go to the redemption round, which is round 3. You score a point there. Great. You don't. You still got 0. It's all to play for. Round 1. The Animal-tastic round. A. Dolphins sleep with one eye open. B. Koalas have fingerprints that are almost identical to human ones. Or C. Bats are classed as not being mammals. Go Groaners live, answers please. Groan at home, pause, have a think, answer unpause. The Groaners have typed in with, what do we have? They have all gone for B. Any more? More B's coming in? A's are coming in. C's are coming in. We have a spread. Okay, Groaners, I hear you loud and clear. Okay, moving on. Round number 2. The celeb round. Before he became an actor, this is A by the way, sorry Groaners, Danny DeVito was a car salesman. B. Gillian Anderson was once arrested for public indecency. Or C. Jennifer Lawrence has 6 toes on her left foot. Go Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. A's are flying in, B's are coming in. A's and B's, A's and B's, B's and A's. We have a split groaners down the line there. Okay. Any more? Nope, we're moving on. Round 3. The I feel a bit hoarse round. A. Horses cannot burp or vomit. B. Horses can breathe through their nose and mouth. Or C. A horse's ears can swivel 90 degrees. So before Groaners Live, you know what to do. Groan at home, you know what to do. Answers please. B's are flying in there. B's are flying in. C's are flying in. Any more? An A? Another A? More B's and more C's. We have a spread again, Groaners. Any more? Nope, cutting you off there. The point situation will come before the end of the show, Groaners. Here we have our fact collection from Admin Nicole next up. This lot is about St. Patrick's Day. The original colour for St. Patrick's Day was blue, not green. The green colour came about due to Ireland's nickname, the Emerald Isle. On St. Patrick's Day, more than 13 million pints of Guinness, that's not my drink of choice, are consumed around the world. St. Patrick's Day's Irish name, and I'm going to use Google again after this to try and translate it, because I'm probably going to butcher it. Sorry, Ireland. La Fheil Padraig. That's LaFheiliPadraig. I don't know if that's possibly Gaelic or Irish Gaelic. I'll use Google, so expect Google to be inserted after this.
La Fheile Porrig.
Hi, Ireland. The shortest St. Patrick's Day parade takes place in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and that covers just 98 feet. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Drink sensibly, and if you can't, let someone else drive or get another means of transport for goodness sake. From facts now, we crank the insanity dial to 11 as we ask, why oh why? We all have numbers out there in most countries around the world to get help from emergency services. This brings me on to a point of both stupid innocence and perhaps education. A 4-year-old boy called police in the USA to report his mother for scoffing his ice cream. The police officers dropped in for a welfare check-in and also used it as a key point to explain to the child that ringing 911 is only for real emergencies. There have been many cases of abuse of 999, which is the UK-based number for emergency services. For example, a man couldn't work the TV remote, therefore he rang 999 for help. Yeah. Next time something happens, and it is trivial, don't ring the emergency line, tap into your brain and let common sense work for a change. If you of course are bleeding or getting assaulted or there's a fire, etc., dial ASAP. People abusing the emergency services numbers. I've just got to ask, why oh why? Continuing the theme of numbers, we hit another game with the 5-point countdown. You know it by now, Groaners, I'll explain again. We start at clue number 5. That's for 5 points, all the way down to 1 point. All the clues are related, even though in the past many of you gave random answers. They are all related to the answer, every single one of them. If you guess right to clue number 5, but you guess wrong clue number 4, you've got to start again and get the right answer on clue number 3. Here we go. Clue 5 for 5 points. This slang term can be used to describe someone who travels around the world a lot. Go Groaners Live, answers please. Groaner at home, tap into your brain, have a little think. Answer. Groaners are typing, what do we have? Globetrotter? That's a good one. Nomad? That's another good one. Well played, Groaners Live. Well played. It's good, but it's not right. I've decided to throw hints now to give you a hand, Groaners. Moving on, clue 4 for 4 points. Whilst they may not use only that mode of transportation, it does involve air travel. Have a think again, Groaners Live. Groaner at home, you do the same. Give us your answers. What you got? If you haven't got anything in the next couple of seconds, I will move on. Groaners Live, I'll give you a chance. What you got? I don't think they've got anything. I'm moving on, okay. Here we go. Clue number 3 for 3 points. The same term can be used to say they are loaded or living the high life. Answers please, groaners. Groaner at home, you know what to do as well. I think I may have stumped them. Those two guesses before Groaners Live were good, but they weren't the right ones I'm looking for. Moving on, clue number 2. You could say they are set for life. I think I've stumped the audience live. I have. Yep, I've stumped them. Groaner at home, were you stumped? Did you get it? Did you have to change your mind? Let us know. And final clue, clue 1 for 1 point. The first word is a fast type of plane, or also one of the female gladiator names in the UK 90s show Gladiators. Go Groaners Live, answers please. Groaner at home, you know what to do. Oh, we have one Groaner typing who's listening live. They may get it. What they got? Groaner Live, you got it. It's Jet Setter. Well done there, Groaner. 1 point to you. If you got it before, you changed your mind, you have possibly less points than you could have got. If you got a clue number 5, well done. Of course, I don't need to give the answer later on because I've just done it. But now moving on, Admin Nicole returns again for another peep from behind the curtains with Creepy Corner. Your story for this week is called The Guilt You'll Never Remember. Valencia stood in the dark empty void she created, ready to move forward, towards the faint roars and screams that she knew could only come from Fawn. She was now whole, never to be separated again. Now she had to reunite father and son. Over her heart, a new constellation was born. One she couldn't wait to see up in the night sky once this was over. A stitched up heart, a new sign of the power she now had to be able to create constellations. This was a result of her becoming whole again, so of course she would call this new constellation the truest love. She ran towards the noise, ready to put an end to it, and yet when she came face to face with the monster, she just stood and smiled. It towered over her, claws and fangs ready to rip her apart. Yet even in its screams, she felt its pain. She had the power to destroy it in an instant, but she couldn't. The monster didn't take over Fawn, it was Fawn. He may not have been in control, but the thing that was had to be inside where he was. If she attacked, she would kill Fawn, and she wasn't even sure if the dead could die a second time, but she couldn't risk it. Instead, she asked his forgiveness, smashed through one of its fangs, and jumped inside its mouth. When she woke, she was surrounded by even more darkness, but she knew this was different. It was like a tunnel of sorts with memories plastered all over the walls. All good memories. Things Fawn would want to remember. No ounce of pain or trauma to be felt from any of them. As she neared the end of the tunnel, she felt something grab a hold of her hand. A smaller version of Fawn, one younger than he was. Yet still a part of him, but not the core part of him. Valencia asked where she could find the core of him, to wake him up and deal with whatever is infecting him. The small Fawn said nothing, and merely encouraged Valencia to follow. They walked through many happy memories of Fawn's life, every good thing he ever felt, and Valencia knew something was wrong. This Fawn wasn't trying to help her, it was protecting itself. No doubt from the memories Fawn had locked away. Valencia told him it was the only way to set him free and bring him back to his father. The small Fawn sighed and summoned a door in front of them before it signaled Valencia to come to its level. This door will show you the truth. This is the truth Dad can't ever remember. You think you've seen Dad fall apart and break down, but if Dad ever remembers what's behind this door, I will never forgive you, he said. Valencia asked what was so wrong on the other side of that door. In a cryptic way, the small Fawn told her that she knew pieces of the truth. The old man's wedding, his son's birth, the experiments, the small time he spent with his family during the experiments, even the escape from the factory. The parts they don't know, the parts the old man won't ever remember, lie beyond that door. Valencia gripped the small Fawn's hand tighter as she opened that door. Inside was the core. He was covered in vines, and no matter what she did, Valencia couldn't get them off. He had to want them off. The screen surrounding him, the one memory that tortures him, the biggest tragedy he had to live through. The truth about him and his mother's death, the thing that truly caused it. The young Fawn asked Valencia to save the core and wake him up before it disappeared. Valencia looked at the oversized screen, struggling to believe what she was seeing. The old man back where he was turned into a machine. He was so human on the outside, but she could tell he wasn't. There was nothing human about what he was back then. There he stood in front of his wife and son, having no control of his own body. There was someone standing behind him, someone who was truly in control, but the figure was blurred. She couldn't tell who it was. All she could see was a remote in his hand. The old man begged, he pleaded, but it was no use. His arms were shaking so much, he was trying so hard to get control back. He really was the best experiment they had ever made. To lose control of his own body whenever they needed it. Whenever they needed him to do whatever they wanted. They took his body, but they couldn't take his emotions. He really didn't want to do it. They were holding down his wife and child. They made him do it. He begged so hard, tears pouring from his face. It was him. The old man killed them both, all because someone was controlling him. To get the distractions out of the way, they made him kill them. A torture that then fried all control over him that he passed out. His mind must have shut down and rewritten the events to save him from knowing. Valencia couldn't believe what she saw. She wrapped her arms around Fawn and told him it's not his fault. It wasn't the old man's fault. His father loved him, and Fawn looked up at her as the vines loosened their grip. He never blamed his father. He and his mother never wanted him to know. Yet he never stopped worrying about the day his father would find out the truth. That's what allowed the vines to take the over and turn him into a monster. Valencia swore to protect him from the truth and allow the fake memories he created to cover it to remain. And if he ever found out, she would do everything in her power to help him heal. The vines cleared and Fawn was able to stand. The monster now vanquished. Yet it wasn't over yet. Fawn had one more request for her before they went back. The bad guys, the yellow one and the red one. I don't know what they did, but they have Mum. They did something to her, something bad. They brought her back. She's alive again, he explained. Wow. Okay, Nicole. Hey, wow. I still don't know where you come up with these ideas, but then again, you could say that about me with the gibberish I come out with as I write this show and groan. Funny enough, speaking of groans, we have the audience groan. This week's audience groan rolled in via email. Husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Chusty, from Limerick in Ireland, have teamed up to give us a groan each. They are opposites as one likes what the other hates. Mr. First, I hate it when places like Greg's put mayonnaise in their ready-made sarnies. Not everyone likes it. Tuna mayo is the worst. Mrs. Oh, ignore that old bluster bag. I find it disgusting when they put sweet corn in pasta pots. Just what is the point? I hate sweet corn and sweet corn juice. It makes me gag. Well, that's the first. A husband and wife having a groanament via the show. I suppose all's fair in love and podcast content. Cheers, guys. You both made me chuckle. If you want to sling us a groan, if you want to nominate a Hero Zero of the Week, give us some feedback, have a game suggestion, or anything else related to the show, you can fire it into us in many ways. You can drop us an email via the groanzonepod@gmail.com. You can join us on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone Podcast. You can join us live or after live on Discord, usually recorded at 8:30, Greenwich Mean Time on a Friday, like today, under the Groan Zone. You can join in on YouTube in the comments section. You can put a comment on Podbean or hopefully anywhere where you watch or listen to the podcast. You can find myself on Facebook Messenger, that's Mr. E. Groaner, or you can find Admin Nicole and Nicole Amos, also on Facebook Messenger. We look forward to hearing from you, Groaners. It's now time to flip common sense on its head as we reverse English to gibberish with talking nonsense. Round 1. This movie personality starred in the film Snatch. Your nonsense is... Pause here. Have a little think. Answer. Unpause, Groaners. Round 2. This is a brand of Apple, aka the fruit, not the famous electronic company. Your nonsense is... Pause here. Have a little think. Answer. Unpause. Round 3. This character was the bad guy in Rocky 4. Your nonsense is... Pause here, groaners. Have a little think. Answer. Unpause. Soon enough, we'll flip that around to get you the answers to see who got points and who ran afoul of my reverse gibberish. As we move along, we cannot forget to name our zero of the week. Now, this is not to offend any Chinese, more so the two idiots guilty of this offence. My apologies if I get the name wrong, I'm going to give it a go. Hidliao, that's Hidilao, which is a Chinese restaurant chain with various locations in China and the USA, has had to apologise as two stupid idiots urinated into its hot pot. A hot pot is kind of like a broth with different vegetables like thrown in and meat thrown in. Refunds have been offered to around 4,000 guests. How much of a total tool bag do you have to be to do this? I hope they found the culprits after a video went online. Hey idiots, next time you need a waz, that's P for those abroad, go to the toilet, you disgusting little urchins. You may wash, but you'll never shake off the stench of being named zero of the week. And on that little bombshell there, we roll onto the game answers to find out the point situation. Talking nonsense first. Your first one, the nonsense was Brad Pitt. Round 2, your nonsense was the famous brand of apple known as Pink Lady. Your third and final one, if you're a film buff, you'll know this one. The bad guy in Rocky 4 was of course called Ivan Drago. The 5-point countdown. As I revealed earlier, the answer was Jet Setter. Yes or BS. Round 1, the Animal-tastic round. If you went for A, dolphins sleep with one eye open, this is true. Only half of their brain sleeps at any given time, allowing them to be constantly aware of their surroundings. If you went for B, koalas have fingerprints that are almost identical to human ones, this is true. This makes them difficult to distinguish even under a microscope. If you went for C, bats are classed as not being mammals, that's false. They are the only mammal that can truly fly. Round 2, the celeb round. If you went for A, before he became an actor, Danny DeVito was a car salesman, that's false. He was actually a hairdresser and even styled dead women's hair for funerals. Interesting. B, if you went for this one, Gillian Anderson was once arrested for public indecency, that's false, although she was arrested for breaking and entering. I couldn't find out where. If you went for C, Jennifer Lawrence has 6 toes on her left foot. Surprisingly, this is true. Round 3, final round. The I feel a bit hoarse round. If you went for A, horses cannot burp or vomit. This is true. They really can't. If you went for B, horses can breathe through their nose and mouth. This is false. They can only breathe through their nostrils. If you went for C, a horse's ears can swivel 90 degrees. That's actually false. Add on another 90. They can actually swivel 180 degrees due to the 10 muscles they have in their ears, which is way more than a human's ears. And from last week, who the hell am I? Your answer was Robert Pattinson. Did you score points, Groaners, live and at home? Well done if you did. But we have one more game for you before we sign off. Admin Nicole is back at it again to bamboozle and baffle with Anagram Anxiety. Your anagram for this week is Alamo Carnival Jails. Your clue, scientific name for a spring flower. The answer to the anagram will come next week, and good luck to us all. I've only ever got a couple of these, so I feel your pain, Groaners. And with that, Groaners, we fade to Groany Grey until next week. Show some love on the platform you listen on, and spread word of the podcast to your family and friends. From myself and Admin Nicole, see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Round 1. I've done that twice. That's one for the outtakes. Yay!